He loved us both, but only one of us had his baby."
"Are you live streaming another makeup video again?" Jason asked, glancing at the ring light flickering in the corner of the living room. "Just a short one. The lighting here is too good to waste," Rachel smiled, adjusting her phone stand. Emily walked out of the bedroom, laptop still open, her face slightly tense from a Zoom call that had just ended. "Don't film my husband on TikTok, okay? I'm not in the mood for drama today," she said, not even looking up. Then to Jason, "I'm flying early tomorrow. Don't forget to do your own laundry." Jason nodded quietly, wiping the coffee table. He didn't argue. He rarely did. They had been friends since college. Emily and Rachel shared a dorm back then. When Emily married Jason, Rachel stood right beside her. Not officially the maid of honor, but something deeper than that. Birthdays, road trips, beach days, they were always a trio. But only two hearts were secretly beating for each other. Rachel had known for years. Jason was the kindest man she had ever met. He remembered how she liked her coffee, iced, black, no sugar. He remembered the offhand comment she made once about hating cold weather, and that Christmas he handed her a box with a hand-knitted scarf. "For all of us," he said casually, but his eyes lingered just a little longer. She couldn't understand why he stayed with Emily. Or maybe she did. Emily was successful. Emily knew what she wanted. Emily was dominant. On Facebook, Emily looked like the perfect wife. #Women in Tech at a conference in New York. Couple photos with captions like, "My rock." But Jason? His last post was from 2 years ago. He never posted. He only watched. Sometimes, when Rachel uploaded a TikTok, a dance, a voiceover skit, a casual vlog, she noticed a quiet like from Jason's account, always late at night, always with no comment. Friday night, company party. All three showed up together. Emily got tipsy, but stayed sharp enough to call her own Uber. "I've got a 6 a.m. flight," she said, kissing Jason on the cheek before disappearing into the city night. Rachel was a little drunk, not sloppy, just soft around the edges. "Can Jason drop me off?" she asked. "I've got the spare key, remember?" The car ride home was short, but the silence felt endless. "You okay?" Jason finally asked, eyes still on the road. "I think so," Rachel replied, "but I don't want to go in just yet." "Huh?" "Because inside, I'm still not okay." She turned to him, her eyes searching his face. "Do you see me, Jason? Or am I just part of her world?" Silence again. Then Jason got out of the car, walked around, and opened her door. They didn't say another word. There were no more city noises, no Emily, no right or wrong. Just two people standing in the soft quiet of a night they weren't supposed to share. The door to Rachel's place opened. Jason followed her in. And the world outside paused. An unlocked door and a heart that opened. The car rolled to a gentle stop in front of Rachel's apartment. The streetlight cast their shadows onto the sidewalk, two quiet figures stretched long into the night. Rachel unbuckled her seatbelt, hesitating for a second. "Would you come up for a bit? I don't feel like being alone." Jason glanced over, his voice low. "Are you sure?" She nodded with a soft smile that carried both the buzz of alcohol and a hint of something deeper. "Just to talk. I need someone to listen." The door clicked open into the dim quiet of her apartment. Inside smelled like vanilla, her signature candle flickering in the corner. Jason stepped in, cautiously. The door shut behind him with a quiet thud, like a line being erased. Rachel shrugged off her coat and turned to him. "Want something to drink?" Jason shook his head. "No, I shouldn't stay long." Rachel chuckled softly. "You don't seem in a rush." Jason didn't respond. His heart pounded, the same way it had years ago when he proposed to Emily. But tonight felt different. This feeling, confusing yet weirdly familiar, was like hearing an old song for the first time in years. Rachel stepped closer. "Jason, are you happy?" He looked up at her. No deflection, no pretending. "Not really. I've made peace with it. Emily's strong. She needs control. And I've gotten used to surrendering." Rachel's voice lowered. "You don't deserve that. You deserve love, not submission." She gently placed her hand over his. Silence followed. They didn't need to say more. Their hearts had already spoken. That night they shared a bed, no promises, no future. Just two broken people finding warmth in each other. The next morning, Rachel woke up alone. Jason had left before dawn. On her kitchen table was a small note. "I'm sorry about last night. I don't know what I'm doing, but I won't forget. Jason." She held the paper, a sad little smile on her lips. Her heart was torn, confused but oddly calm. Whatever this was, it had only just begun. 3 days later, Emily FaceTimed Rachel from the airport. She looked tired but beautiful in her crisp business blazer. "Hey, single lady, New York's amazing but so exhausting. I'll be back Monday. Miss home like crazy." Rachel bit her lip. "Yeah, it's been quiet around here. How's Jason? Is he eating right?" Rachel forced a neutral tone. "Yeah, he's been going to work. Nothing out of the ordinary." "That's weird. He hasn't answered my messages since yesterday." Rachel froze for a second, then changed the subject. "Hey, I sent that TikTok of you to my group chat. Everyone says you look like a boss lady CEO." Emily laughed. "Well, this CEO's about to fall asleep at gate 23. Talk soon. Love ya." The call ended. Rachel stared at her phone screen, now black and still. Guilt crept into her chest. But then she placed her hand on her stomach, where something new was quietly growing. 1 week later, Rachel stood in the bathroom, eyes fixed on the pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. The world spun. "This can't be. We were careful, weren't we?" She picked up her phone, hands shaking, and dialed Jason. He picked up after a long pause. "Rachel?" "Jason, I think I'm pregnant." Silence. "Are you sure?" "I took 2 tests." Jason let out a long breath. I need to think, but if it's mine, I won't walk away." Rachel closed her eyes. "I'm not trying to take you from Emily. I want to keep the baby." "I understand," Jason said softly. "Do whatever you need. I'll support you." 2 months later, Rachel packed her life into boxes and moved to a small town in North Carolina. No goodbye, no explanations. Just a letter to Emily with cold, simple words. "I need space. Please don't look for me. I'm sorry." Emily called dozens of times. Rachel never picked up. Jason blamed his silence on work and avoided any deep conversations. And, just like that, the secret lived for almost a year. Whenever Emily went on business trips, Jason would fly to visit Rachel and their son, growing bigger and more beautiful every day. No one knew. Until Emily found an old iMessage thread. Jason had forgotten to delete it from his iCloud sync, and in a flash, her world crashed. That afternoon, Rachel stood in front of the mirror in her small rental home in a quiet corner of Wisconsin. She pressed her hand gently on her belly, where a tiny life was slowly taking shape. Everything had happened too fast. A week of mistakes, a lifetime of consequences. She had tried to run, left the city behind, but emotions, or guilt, chased her into every sleepless night. Her phone buzzed. The name Jason lit up the screen. She hesitated, then picked up. "Rachel, are you okay?" Jason's voice was low, unsure. "I'm okay. You? I can't stop thinking about you, about everything." "Jason, you shouldn't be calling." "I know, but are you sure? About the baby?" She paused for a few seconds, then whispered, "Yes, I'm sure. I had the ultrasound. It's a boy." Jason exhaled, hard. Relief? Fear? She couldn't tell. "I want to be there. I want to take responsibility." "You have a family, Jason. You can't split your heart in half." He went quiet. For the first time, Rachel heard something final in her own voice. Not the soft, guilty girl from the kitchen. Not the stolen moment. She was a mother now. 3 months later, Rachel posted a few new photos on Facebook. Sitting by a window, sunlight spilled over her wavy brown hair and rounded belly. The glow of motherhood softened her face. Hundreds of likes rolled in from classmates and coworkers, but one heart reaction made her stomach drop. Emily. 2 minutes later, a message appeared. "Whose baby is that, Rachel?" Rachel held her breath. She hadn't meant for Emily to find out, but social media never keeps secrets for long. She typed slowly. "I'm sorry. I'll tell you everything, but please don't explode." No reply, just silence. 2 weeks later. Evening fell. Rachel had just put the baby down when someone knocked on her door. She opened it. Jason. He hadn't called, but something in his eyes said this wasn't a regular visit. "She knows," he said. "Emily came to see you?" "No, she hired someone to follow me." Rachel sighed, her eyes red. "I never meant to destroy anything, but the baby, he's innocent." Jason stepped closer. "I know. No matter what happens, I'm going to be there for him." Her hands trembled, but her voice stayed calm. "Then what about Emily?" He didn't answer, not because he didn't want to, but because he didn't know how. A few days later, Emily showed up at Rachel's house. No text, no call, just appeared. Rachel was in the yard, pushing the baby stroller gently to help him nap. She froze when she saw her former best friend walk into the driveway. "Hi, Rachel. Long time no see," Emily said, smiling coldly. "Emily, I came to see my baby." "No, you can't just... He's not yours." "Oh, I know. He's my husband's." The air turned to glass. The baby started crying. Rachel scooped him up, whispering softly. Emily stared at the child, then turned away, her voice shaking. "You were the one person I trusted, when I couldn't even trust Jason. You cooked for me, held my hand when I cried. You listened to me." Rachel's eyes filled. "I know, and I haven't forgiven myself since." Later that night, Jason messaged both of them.
We need to meet, all three of us. No more hiding, for the baby, for closure. Rachel read the text, her heart heavy. No more secrets, no more shadows. The end was near, but no one knew if it would bring peace, revenge, or goodbye. The bell above the coffee shop door jingled as Rachel stepped inside, holding baby Leo in her arms. She scanned the room quickly. Jason was already there, nervous, fidgeting with his coffee cup. He stood when he saw her, trying to smile, but it faded as soon as Emily entered behind her. Emily's heels clacked against the wooden floor. She wore all black, elegant, cold, unshakable. Her eyes locked with Rachel's, then briefly flicked to the baby. Silence. Jason stood awkwardly between them, like a man facing two sides of a war he caused. "I see you brought him," Emily said, her voice sharp. Rachel nodded. "He's mine." Jason looked like he wanted to disappear. "Can we sit?" They took a table in the corner, Rachel with Leo beside her in a carrier, Jason in the middle, and Emily across from them, arms folded. Rachel broke the silence first. "I didn't plan for all of this. I never meant to fall for him." Emily scoffed. "People don't fall into beds by accident, Rachel, especially not 3 nights in a row." Jason winced. "Emily, no, let her speak. I want to hear the fairy tale. Was it love at first Uber ride, or did the whiskey help?" Rachel's fingers tightened around her coffee cup. "It wasn't like that. You were gone. He was hurting. We were both human. We made a mistake." Emily raised an eyebrow. "You made a baby." Leo stirred in his sleep, letting out a soft whimper. Jason reached instinctively to check on him, but stopped himself halfway. Rachel adjusted the blanket over the baby's chest. "I moved away," Rachel said, softly now. "I didn't want to ruin your marriage. I knew what I did was wrong. But he's innocent." Jason finally spoke, quietly. "And I've been helping. I send money, I visit. You were always busy, Emily. I didn't know how to tell you." Emily leaned back, biting her lip, fighting tears that refused to fall. "So that's why you started traveling for work every other month? To see them?" Jason looked down. "I should have known," Emily muttered. "The late calls, the passwords changed, the way you stopped arguing back when I yelled. You were already gone." Rachel whispered, "We didn't want to hurt you." Emily's eyes shot back to hers. "Don't act like you were protecting me. You betrayed me, both of you. My best friend, my husband." Leo started to cry. Rachel gently picked him up, rocking him softly, avoiding eye contact. Jason whispered, "I think I love him." Emily blinked. "Excuse me? I think I love my son," he corrected. "I didn't expect it, but every time I hold him, something changes in me." Emily stared at Jason like he was a stranger. "And what about me? Do you love me?" He hesitated. Rachel looked down. Emily stood up slowly. "That's all I needed to know." She turned to leave but stopped. "You know what the worst part is, Rachel? I always defended you. My mom hated you. My sister said you were too close to Jason. I told them to shut up." Rachel opened her mouth, but Emily held up a hand. "Don't. Just don't." She walked out without another word. Jason sat there for a moment, stunned. Rachel said nothing. She just kept rocking Leo, whose cries had softened. Jason eventually stood. "I need to go after her." Rachel nodded.
You should. He paused. Are you okay? I will be. He looked down at Leo. Tell him, I'll figure this out. He deserves more than this mess. Rachel nodded again, lips trembling. Jason walked out the same door Emily had stormed through minutes earlier. Rachel sat alone in the cafe, holding Leo tightly. A couple at the next table was whispering. One of them was already typing on their phone. Within an hour, a photo of Jason, Rachel, and the baby was on a local Facebook gossip page with the caption, "Small town drama at Joe's Cafe. Is this the love triangle we all suspected?" By nightfall, Rachel's inbox was full of messages, some supportive, most not. Emily's sister had commented under the photo, "Told y'all Rachel was trouble. Girl can't keep her legs closed." Rachel locked her phone and stared at the ceiling of her small rental house that night, Leo sleeping soundly beside her. Her tears were silent. The world knew now. Jason stood in the middle of his living room, holding his phone like it had burned him. The screen still displayed the text from Emily. "You have 2 hours to tell your parents before I do. Also, I changed my status to single. Good luck explaining that." He slumped onto the couch, the silence in the house so loud it roared. Rachel had left town. Emily had left the marriage. And he had no one left but himself, his guilt, and a dozen lies scattered across 2 homes. Jason opened Instagram. Emily's new post was already climbing in views. A photo of her hand without the ring. Caption, "Lesson learned, never trust a borrowed heart." The comments section was full of fire emojis and girl power quotes. Jason scrolled through them, each one a pin to the chest. The internet now knew what he had done, or at least a version of it. Friends started texting, some angry, some confused, some just silent. That night, he didn't sleep. He kept replaying that conversation at the coffee shop. Rachel's trembling voice, Emily's fury, baby Leo yawning like he didn't belong in this world of grown-up disasters. 3 days passed. Jason still hadn't gone to work. The HR department left 2 voicemails. He ignored them. But then his dad called. "Son," said the older voice, calm but tight, "your mother and I saw the post. Is it true?" Jason couldn't answer, just silence. "We raised you better than this," his father continued. "Come home, now. We need to talk." Rachel, meanwhile, had deleted Facebook. She kept TikTok but changed her username. No photos of Leo, no dance videos, no trace of her old life. She rented a small room in Idaho, in a town where no one asked questions. The landlady was kind and didn't mind that she sometimes cried while feeding the baby at 3 a.m. One evening, Rachel opened her phone and saw a new text, not from Jason, from Emily. "You got what you wanted. Hope it was worth it." Rachel stared at it for a long time. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, then stopped. She deleted the message, not because it didn't hurt, but because replying would only pull her back in. She had already burned bridges. Now she needed to rebuild herself. Emily filed for divorce on a rainy Thursday. She didn't cry. She just clicked Submit on the online portal, then went back to her Zoom meeting. Her lawyer called later and confirmed everything was moving forward. Jason hadn't contested anything. He seemed to be letting it all go. That weekend, Emily started a podcast. Title, Unwifed, Rebuilding After Betrayal. Episode 1, The Friend You Trusted and the Man You Married. It went viral overnight. Thousands of women shared their own betrayal stories in the comments. Emily wasn't just healing, she was becoming a voice. Jason finally drove 6 hours to Idaho. He didn't text Rachel before coming. He just stood outside the tiny duplex with a bouquet of sunflowers and a quiet heart. When Rachel opened the door, Leo was in her arms, drooling onto a soft elephant bib. Jason whispered, "I'm not here to fight or beg. I just wanted to see him." Rachel didn't speak. She stepped aside and let him in. They sat in silence for a long time. Jason finally looked.
Closure. I've lost everything, but I still want to be a father. Rachel nodded. You can be, but not to me, just to him. Jason understood. This wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't reconciliation. It was the first step towards something else, something quieter, more honest. Back in her studio apartment, Emily recorded episode 4 of her podcast. Closure is a lie, but growth is real. She talked about betrayal, about self-worth, about rebuilding. But she didn't name names anymore. She didn't need to. The story was now bigger than her pain. It belonged to every woman who had ever trusted the wrong people and still chose to rise. As the episode ended, she took a deep breath and smiled for the first time in weeks. Life had burned the blueprint, but she was building her own map now. Jason sat on the porch, holding a half-empty coffee cup, staring at the morning fog that rolled across Rachel's quiet Idaho yard. Leo's soft babble echoed from inside. The past year had passed like a dream, or a storm. He couldn't tell which. All he knew was that today, things needed to be said. Rachel stepped outside, her robe wrapped tight around her, her hair in a loose bun. She leaned against the wooden beam, eyes calm but wary. Jason. I'm going back. Rachel, quietly. To her? Jason. No. Back to work. Back to life. But not like before. Rachel looked down, exhaled through her nose. Rachel. You don't have to say anything, Jason. I never expected a white picket fence. Jason. But I promised to be there. For Leo, for you, you were, the way you could. And now we're here. We're not broken people. We just made broken choices. Jason stepped closer. Jason, can we at least try again? Build something new? Rachel, I'm not sure I want to build anything that starts in betrayal again. Leo cried from inside. She turned to go, but Jason gently touched her wrist. Jason. I'm sorry. Rachel, soft smile. Me too. Meanwhile, back in Austin, Emily parked her car outside a cozy little bookstore cafe. She checked her reflection in the mirror, applied a dab of lipstick, then grabbed her laptop and walked in. She was different now, softer in some ways, sharper in others. Her podcast, Unwifed, had gone viral. Women DM'd her every day with stories of pain, betrayal, growth. She wasn't alone anymore. She ordered her oat milk latte and sat at her usual corner booth. The barista smiled. Barista. You're the podcast girl, right? The divorce thing? Emily, chuckling. Yeah, that's me. Barista. You helped my sister, just so you know. Emily nodded, eyes misty. She opened her laptop. Notifications flooded in. New followers, another speaking invitation, a sponsorship offer from a mindfulness app. Her phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. First one in months. He's walking now. Looks just like him. Hope you're well. R. Emily stared at it for a long moment. She typed,
"You're strong. I hope you're okay too." But then she deleted it. Instead, she just sent a single heart emoji. No more explanations needed. 1 week later, Boise, Idaho. Jason packed up his rental car. The air was cold but fresh. Leo toddled around the yard, chasing leaves. Rachel stood nearby, arms crossed but not cold. Rachel: "He's going to ask for you when he starts talking." Jason: "I'll visit. Often." Rachel: "No more secrets, Jason. That's all I ask." He nodded. She walked over, helped him buckle Leo into his little seat. Jason: Tell him I tried." Rachel, gently: "I will, but maybe one day you can tell him yourself." Jason smiled. It was a tired, grateful smile. 3 months later, Austin TX. Emily stepped on stage. Hundreds of women in the audience. All ages, all faces. The sign behind her read, "Rewrite Your Story, a Healing Conference." She stood under the spotlight, confident, glowing, alive. Emily: "1 year ago, I was someone's wife, then someone's ex, then someone's ghost." Laughter in the crowd. Emily: "But somewhere along the way, I became my own person again. I stopped waiting for closure. I stopped needing revenge. And I started forgiving." Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean they're right. It just means you're free. Applause. Standing ovation. She held her heart, eyes brimming. Back in Idaho. Rachel sat on the porch watching Leo play with blocks. Her phone buzzed. It was Emily again. Podcast idea. Want to co-host an episode? Title: The Woman He Loved Twice. Rachel smirked. Bold. She typed back, "Only if I get to write the title." Closing scene. Split screen. Jason, back in his office, smiling at a framed photo of Leo. Rachel, placing Leo in his crib, moonlight casting shadows across the room. Emily, laughing with her audience, holding her mic with power. Their lives didn't go back to how they were. They moved forward. In different directions, but whole. Finally. So, what happens next? 1 year later. Will Jason become more present in Leo's life? Will Rachel and Emily, 2 women shaped by heartbreak, find their own paths forward? And Leo, the little boy caught in it all, how will he grow up surrounded by imperfect yet genuine love? What do you think will happen next? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Pin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this episode if it moved you. Comment, I'll keep writing and sharing these stories to help you unwind, reflect, and feel a little more at peace. See you in the next chapter.